they treat you in terms of the way they handle you as a witness, as if you're testifying on like John Gotti. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man, I'm talking about 2 agents come to your house, rush you in the car, you come out outside, it's just paparazzi, everything's loaded outside, they grab you, they rush you in.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real. Real life street stars. You know what time it is.
What do you do? What do you say about the stigmas of the male escort? Right, a lot of people will try to throw, man, the male escort will do anything for money. What do you say to the people that say that?
I mean, so what I really think that ties into, first of all, is the first place they go to is gay, right? First place they go to is gay, and I'm not even going to say that's a bad stereotype. I'm going to say probably as many as 75% of male dancers or whatever, they dance for both sexes, you know? And so if a man dances for a man, then it's easier to peg that on him, you know? That's your choice, right? So me personally, I've been able to be in this 30 years and never had to work in the gay club, never had to auction off my manhood for a price, but I'm not gonna be judgmental on the guys that have the mental state to do it, you know, to each his own, make your money. But I believe it starts there. And yeah, I mean, to some degree, when you put a price on your sexuality, then that stigma kind of warrants it, right? Anything for money. But I don't care what it is, everybody's gonna have boundaries, right?
Okay, so now, right, with the court proceedings, they're pretty much labeling you a prostitute. Do you take offense to that?
I don't take offense to it, right? Because the act itself was prostitution, right? I can't sidestep that, right? I think the only thing for me that throws me off is, like, I've been in this business 30 years, and if I've been in a scenario for sex for money, right, it's been, let's say, 20 times, right? And so now that's the prominent label, right? As if I was been doing that for 30 years, you know? And it's never even been like an overt sex for money. Like every now and then I'll look up and that 1 out of 10 ratio, a call, and women don't call up and say, hey, I wanna hire you for sex, right? They're very discreet with it. They say, do you do one-on-ones?
That's what the chef, we had a chef that had that same scenario.
They say, do you do one-on-ones? Do you do right?
Oh, that's the cat call.
So I'll get the call and I'll say, hey, maybe, you know, whatever. And if I get her to send me a photo and I'm like, oh, she looks good, right? Yeah. I'm going in for my own personal interest, and then it's the ego. Like, oh, I got a chick that wants to pay me. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure they got it.
Yeah, like, look, I don't care what you say. But any guy that got an issue with, let me ask them, when the last time a chick paid you for sex? Right. You know what I'm saying? How many men can say that, right? So if you want to call me ego tripping on this scenario, then I'm gonna own that, right? But that is a ego boost, like flattering all day long. Because, you know, the majority of women don't have to pay for sex. And they get it, right? So if you're on that end, that's empowering for a man. So
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one. But that what you just said is very interesting, and I'm gonna go back to it. You said that a woman paid you to come out, but doesn't your intent to prostitute really decides if it's prostitution?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can frame it that way, right? But I've never advertised it, right? I never, if I'm propositioned and it aligns with my sexual attraction or in the scenario works for me, then I'll go there without a doubt. But I'm not waking up every day saying, all right, let me put some ads on Craigslist, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and generate income through a trade-off for sex, right? But if I'm propositioned through dancing or whatever the case may be, have I indulged? Absolutely.
So is that prostitution or a come up?
Maybe a combination of both, man. You know, maybe a combination of both.
Let me ask you one last question. I wanted to ask you, you know, because we talked about it on the show a number of times, getting in that box and having these individuals ask you questions. How did that make you feel? You
mean on the stand?
On the stand.
Yo, man, on the stand, I had to almost check out because forget the questions, man. Like walking into a federal courtroom,
Yeah.
that ain't no Judge Judy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Walk us through that. Just give us, describe that for
yeah.
us.
So, man, like, first of all, they treat you in terms of the way they handle you as a witness, as if you're testifying on like John Gotti. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, man, I'm talking about 2 agents come to your house, rush you in the car, you come outside, it's just paparazzi, everything's loaded outside, they grab you, they rush you in, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, this is crazy. And for me, I got almost like blindsided because the procedure is supposed to be they hold you on the 8th floor, right? Right. And then right before you go on, the witness before you, the court is on the 26th floor. So they take you to the 26th floor and they're supposed to hold you in a room across. And then whoever's testifying before you, when they finish, then they'll bring you over. So I'm coming up from the 8th floor to the 26th thinking I'm gonna be held. And right before me, I think was mom, and they didn't cross her. Oh. So she just came off the stand. And when I think I'm going in the room, they're like, no, you in here. And I'm thinking I'm walking in the room and I walk straight into the court. So I didn't even know. So, bro, you go in there, man, like the doors is like 15 feet high. It's like rows and rows and rows of attorneys. Like you sit up on the stand. I couldn't even find a prosecutor. And bro, I had almost like a panic attack, man. Like my hands started shaking. I was having trouble talking. It was rough, man. And the only thing that saved me was I got called to the stand about 10 minutes before lunch. So they just put me up there, they swore me in, asked me like 2 regular questions, and they had to break for lunch. And then they took me across the hall, and it took me about 15, 20 minutes, man, to gain my composure, man, to literally stop my hands from shaking. It was,
right.
It was,
did the government prep you before the testimony?
They did, but like the witness preps was kind of simple, right? Because everything they anticipated for the cross was wrong, right? The cross, they thought it was going to be a focus on attacking my credibility, which the defense did the opposite. They actually bolstered my credibility to make their case. Right. And the prosecution's direct questions was questions that they had asked me over and over and over and over again for months. So I was cool with everything, but the moment was the problem. The moment was just. It was just intense.
What was the most intimidating part of it, though, that just got to you in the courtroom? Like the most intimidating part?
The most intimidating part for me, if I'm keeping it 100, was avoiding. First of all, I couldn't find where Diddy was at. Right. The room is too big. I didn't even know where he was. And then I was gonna avoid any eye contact, anything. To any degree, because I didn't want to deal with the possibility of there being like a intense stare or a negative or something that could be an issue, right? You gotta look if you hear he didn't get bail because there's supposed to be an intimidation factor, right? That's what the media is saying, whatever. So, and then I'll keep it 100. Like I spoke to a good friend of mine who's a retired Fed, and I asked him, I said, is there really a issue of retaliation, right? Or something for just being involved? And they're like, it's real, you know? So you're in a real difficult space because you got the Southern District, you got the federal government on one end, not really giving you a choice, and then your testimony or whatever could be the difference or be contributing to somebody spending life in jail. So it's just, it's a rough spot, man.
So now, one of the things, right, there's a guy named Inner Press or Inner City Press that is covering the case. Everybody's hanging on every word. And one of the big things that came out of the testimony was that you almost made it seem as if you weren't coerced, or it didn't seem like was coerced into doing this. She actually liked doing it. So for you, was that the statement? It's just like it didn't seem like Diddy was holding her hand to the fire to make her do these freak offs. It was something that she was a willing participant in.
Yeah, I mean, man, that's my honest experience, right? Like, yeah, I remember, and this went on 2.5 years. Right. And in 2.5 years, I never said a word to Diddy. We never had any communication. I never even had eye contact with him.
Right.
So
He was a fly on the wall, baby.
yeah, so all my conversations, all my interactions, everything is with, and they're all cordial, right? They're all cordial, they're all cool, they're all pleasant to the point where like we're cool, And so I didn't get a read of anything that could have remotely seemed like she was in distress, right? And the only things that I think the prosecution was trying to focus on, there was moments, because he would give directions, right? So there was moments when the directions would be very specific, like move the candle, like, all right, move it some more,
Right.
You move to the left, grab the oil. And at times I seen her like sigh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever, but I think maybe those moments of her frustration, they wanted that to be distress, but I could not go up there from a place and frame it as distress because that's not how I read it.
Okay.
Shout out Reallyfe Street Stars, nigga. Move it. Hey.